No matter what you do, you will never rise above this, your standards. Welcome to the way of permanent transformation. My name is Stanley Bronstein, and today I want to talk to those of you who are building your future. Maybe you're in your 20s, maybe you're in your 30s, maybe your early 40s. You're working, you're trying, you're planning, you're dreaming. You're hoping the next 5, 10, 20, or 30 years of your life will become something better than where you are right now. And I want to say something very directly. Your future will not be shaped only by what you want. It will not be shaped only by what you hope for. It will not be shaped only by what you say matters. Your future will be shaped by the standards you live by. Not the standards you admire, not the standards you talk about, not the standards you post about, but the standards you actually practice. A standard is the line you decide you're no longer willing to live below. It's what you require from yourself, not once, not when you feel motivated, not when life is easy, not when people are watching, repeatedly. Your standards show up in the way you treat your body, the way you spend your time, the way you handle money, the way you speak to yourself, the way you keep your word, the way you choose your friends, the way you handle pressure, the way you act when no one is forcing you to act. That is why standards matter so much. Your goals may be high, your dreams may be big, your intentions may be sincere, but your life will keep returning to the level of your standards. A lot of people say they want a better future, but wanting a better future is not the same thing as living at the standard that future requires. That is where the four factors come in: willingness, belief, discipline, commitment. Those four factors are not just abstract ideas, they are what make a standard real. Without them, a standard is just a nice thought. With them, a standard can become a way of life. The first factor is willingness. Willingness asks a very simple question: are you willing to do what this standard requires? Not what is convenient, not what is comfortable, not what feels good today, but what's required. Most people want better health, but are they willing to eat differently? Are they willing to move their body? Are they willing to stop treating the body like it doesn't matter? Most people want more success, but are they willing to prepare? Are they willing to focus? Are they willing to do the boring work that creates the visible result? Most people want a better future, but are they willing to become the kind of person who can build that future? That is the difference between wanting and willingness. Wanting is easy, willingness has a price. A standard without willingness is just a wish. The second factor is belief. Belief asks, do you believe you can live at this standard? That matters because people usually live in alignment with what they believe about themselves. If you believe you're weak, inconsistent, stuck, or incapable of change, your standards will probably stay low. You may talk about more. You may want more. You may even be inspired by more. But deep down, if you do not believe more is possible for you, you'll keep returning to the old level. That's why belief is never neutral. It's always doing something. It's either helping you rise or helping hold you down. One of the greatest lessons I've learned in my own life is this: we are all more powerful than we ever imagined. But if you do not believe that, you may never test it. You may never challenge the old story. You may never raise the standard. You may never find out what you're truly capable of becoming. A standard you do not believe you can live by will not hold for long. The third factor is discipline. Discipline is where your standard becomes visible, not in what you say, but in what you do, especially when you do not feel like doing it. Discipline is not punishment, it is chosen structure. It is intelligent self direction. It is repeated right action. It is self respect in action. If your standard is better health, Discipline is the walk, the meal, the bedtime, the choice to stop making excuses. If your standard is better work, discipline is focus, preparation, finishing what you start, doing the next right thing even when it's not exciting. If your standard is a better life, discipline is what turns that standard into daily behavior. You go for the walk. You make the better choice. You tell the truth. You keep the promise. You turn off the distraction. You return after a mistake. That last part matters. Discipline is not perfection. Discipline is returning. It is coming back to the standard after you slip. A standard without discipline does not become a life. It remains an idea. The fourth factor is commitment. Commitment asks, is this standard settled or are you still negotiating? That's a very important question because many people do not fail because they lack desire. They fail because the standard is still up for debate. They keep asking, do I feel like it today? Can I skip it this time? Does it really matter? Can I start again next week? Can I make an exception? Can I leave the back door open just in case this gets uncomfortable? But commitment closes the back door. Commitment is where the standard stops being optional. It's where you stop flirting with a better life and start building one. Interested people act when it's convenient. Committed people continue when it's inconvenient. It does not mean they're perfect. It just means the decision is settled. A standard without commitment collapses under pressure. So let's put the four factors together. Willingness asks, am I willing to do what the standard requires? Belief asks, do I believe I'm capable of living at this level? Discipline asks, will I practice the standard daily? Commitment asks, is this standard settled or am I still negotiating? When those four factors work together, a standard becomes powerful. It's no longer just something you admire, it becomes something you live. And that is where your future starts changing. Now, here's the warning. Low standards rarely destroy your future all at once. They usually do it quietly, one excuse at a time, one broken promise at a time, one lowered expectation at a time, one repeated compromise at a time, one small surrender at a time. And because each one seems small, you may not notice the damage right away. But over time, those small choices compound, and eventually you look around and realize something uncomfortable. You didn't get the future you wanted. Instead, you got the future your standards created. That's not meant to shame you, it's meant to wake you up. Because if standards helped create the future you have, standards can also help create the future you want. The good news is that your standards are not fixed. They can be raised, they can be practiced, they can be strengthened, they can become part of who you are. But do not try to raise every standard in your life at once. That's how people overwhelm themselves and quit. Start with one area, one line, one standard. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your time. Maybe it's your money. Maybe it's your work. Maybe it's your relationships. Maybe it's your environment. Maybe it's your self talk. Pick one area and ask yourself, what is my current standard? What have I been tolerating? What have I been excusing? What line do I need to raise? And what would that look like today? Not someday, today. Because your future is not built someday. Your future is built today. So here's the simple exercise. Pick one standard, make it clear, make it real, then practice it. Do not make it complicated. Do not turn it into a giant life renovation project. Just pick one standard and start living by it. If the standard is walking 20 minutes a day, walk 20 minutes a day. If the standard is no phone during focused work, put the phone away. If the standard is keeping your word to yourself, keep one promise today. If the standard is better health, make your next meal better. If the standard is better relationships, speak with more honesty and respect. If the standard is better time use, protect one block of time that matters. One standard, one day, one real action. That's how the future starts being built by design instead of by default. Remember this, no matter what you do, you will never rise above your standards. Not your dreams, not your wishes, not your intentions, your standards. So raise the standard, live the standard, practice the standard, protect the standard, because the future you're building will not be shaped by what you say you want. It will be shaped by what you repeatedly require from yourself. That's the way of permanent transformation. If this message speaks to you, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. New videos are released on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And you can learn more or contact me on my website, thewayofexcellence.com.